Hi everybody, welcome to Paper Wishes Vlog. I'm Lene Gehrig, and today I've got these great stamp and cutting die combos from our friends at Apple Blossom. And there's 12 sets here, and they are a year in flowers. So each one of these, for example, this one is the January set and it's a Stephanosis, and it's got great stamp set. They're all strapped together by these little pieces of paper. So let me undo this first. There we go. All right, so we've got this wonderful large stamp set, and then also the coordinating die. I'm going to show you how those work in a minute. So this is January. Here we've got February, stamp and die. March, the daffodil. Here's April, beautiful. I'm going to set this one aside because my friend Debbie made a card with that one. Here's May. Beautiful peonies. Got a card using that one too. Here's June. Very cute. We're going to set that one aside too. And oh, look at the zinnias for July. Gorgeous. And then we have August. This is a magnolia. September. October. Both of these. Go. And if you go to the product page for each one of these listed below our video, you'll see these stamps and die sets more clearly. Here we go. This is November. Very cute. And the Narcissus is for December. All right, so let's take a look what you can do with these. So this first card, my friend Debbie made this one, and this is for June. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this. No, not going to do it. So what she did with this one, for her background papers, she used the new Secret Garden papers. She used one of the reverse sides to the bold patterns, this green and white leafy pattern. And then she used the cardstock as well. And she also used this new cutting die. This is rectangles, 3x8, and these are from the Cutting Edge collection from Hot Off the Press, and they're perfect for your slimline cards. So for this one, Debbie stamped using gold embossing powder. She also stamped the image first using a translucent clear ink pad, and then sprinkled on her super ultrafine gold embossing powder. And then she did a little coloring with that, and she used, grab this, a really nice light green from the stems, but for the actual flower blossoms and buds, she used the dark red blend. This is a tri-blend marker from Spectrum Noir. It's got 3 pens in one. So it's got a dark pen and a medium pen and the light pen, which is just perfect for blending. So she did a little dark in some of the areas here among the gold embossing, and then colored the whole thing over, probably with the lightest pen. So you can see a really beautiful slimline card here. All right, and for this next one, this one is gorgeous. Debbie used the May stamp. This is Peonies. And for this one, she stamped it first. She did kind of a really interesting thing here. She used watercolor markers to color her flower. But the red ink pad, this is like a cherry red. She used 2 of these. These are Prism ink pads. This is Cherry Walnut and the Rainforest Green. And these are dye-based ink pads, which means they're not waterproof. So how do you use the not waterproof ink pads when you're using watercolor pencils? Whoops, here we go. And she also used the watercolor brush. So let me show you what she did. She first stamped her image using, from Hero Arts, this is a contour ink pad, okay? It's like a gray ink pad. And what you would do with that is stamp the image first in gray, and traditionally this is used for lineless coloring or no line coloring. And I'm going to just do this image right here. Ooh, I should have taken the whole thing out. All right, so I'm going to put that blossom right there. And I'm going to show you in a few minutes after this how to use this ink pad for no line coloring and what that means. But for now, Debbie used it for a different purpose. Okay, now you can barely see the image is stamped there. See if you got it. The more ink that you apply, the darker this is going to be. So it goes from a very, very light, and of course I'm stamping gray on gray, so it's even going to be lighter. And I'm using the stamping pad, the Misty, because I've squared up my gray cardstock, which is from a pastel cardstock pad. It's going to be listed in our products below this video at paperwishes.com. There we go. So you can see that a little better now. So now that you have this all set, then you can do some coloring with your watercolors. I'm going to use some red here and sort of an orangey color. All right, so now what you can do is you can go ahead and do some coloring with your red watercolor pencil. Go like this, and then I'm going to add in a little bit of the orange. And the reason we're doing this is because now I can color and use these products and not worry about, and I'm not going to worry about disrupting my ink that I'm going to put on top. So now I've got my watercolor brush. This is already filled with water. It makes it so much easier. So I am just brushing within the lines. And actually, I can brush outside of the lines, and it's just fine because we're going to go over this in a few minutes and stamp this with the red ink, which will make it very vivid. And you don't have to worry about smearing, or, I don't know, sometimes even when I'm doing embossing, when I'm doing like a black embossing powder and then I use my Spectrum Noir pens and I'm really scrubbing at that paper for whatever reason, I find that it will smear the, ooh, got a little too much water there. It will smear whatever it is that I'm working on. So this is a nice technique for that too. All right, so I'm just gonna stop right there. Just got a couple of petals done. And then what you would do at this point, I can't believe I did this, you guys. I took off the stamp because I got so excited I skipped a step. So what you would do is you would color this, you would leave the stamp in place. That's the whole point of using the platform, Lene. Okay, we're gonna hope I lined it up well enough. All right, and then we're gonna just stamp right over that image. Now we're assuming that you've colored the whole image. Oh, there, yeah, it worked. All right, so now I've got this wonderful outline image, and I'm going to let you see here. You can zoom in a little bit, Steve. So now you've colored in all of those little petals, done your markers. The contour ink pad allowed you to have a line to go around and keep things in place. And then when you're finally done with your entire image, go ahead then and stamp it again without moving your stamp like I did. And then you'll get this lovely image. And it's just a really nice technique. All right, so let me show you some more ideas. Get this ink off of here so I don't forget. All right, so back to Debbie's card really quick. So that's what she did on both of these images right here. And then she took the die set, coordinating die set, right here. Comes all nice and packaged and ready to go. And she simply placed this over the colored gray cardstock like this. And she didn't even use the full length of the stem. She just cut some off. And these will all fit within a standard like 6-inch wide platform for a die cutting machine. So like a Big Shot or a Gemini Junior, these will fit just fine. Okay, and those just die cut beautifully. There's even some little dies for the words too, so you can die cut those. All right. She also placed the pink paper, the beautiful pink paper that she used on the background. This is brand new for us. This is a Sweet Pea 12 by 12 patterned cardstock, so it's not patterned paper, it's double-sided cardstock. And she used this beautiful pink paper right here. All right, so let's see. I've got another one here to show you. All right, so for this one, here we have got April, and here's the die for April. Where did I put the stamp? Oh, strange. It's probably sitting on my table somewhere. It's right in front of me. All right, so we've got our stamp and the coordinating die, and Debbie stamped this on watercolor paper, and she used, again, the translucent ink pad and also just white superfine embossing powder. And then she used some ink pads to do some coloring instead of like a colored pencil, but she went back to that water brush again. Okay, so that's a great little tool to have. And for this, she used grasshopper, or she also used, for the dark green on her stems and leaves, pine tree, and these are water-based Harmony Spectrum Noir ink pads. So they're water-based, they're going to color and blend beautifully. We've got grasshopper and pine tree for the stems and leaves. And then she used a mixture of crushed violet and pale fig for the actual blossom here. And then around the edges here, she used Oasis, which is this really beautiful blue, the whole time using her watercolor brush. And what you can do with this is just take like a plastic craft mat like this. I'm actually just going to show you a little bit. Just take a little bit of the ink like this. Then you're going to take your brush. You're just going to wet that a little bit and then do a little bit here and here. Of course, I'm needing to use way more water. Like that, and to color those little places in, even just doing a little smudging there. And filling in those little places with little darker bits. And then the lighter bits, she used the pale fig. And then just kind of moving that around even with your fingertip. Just a really nice way to blend all those together. Okay? Really beautiful card. All right, now I've got another technique to show you. All right, so for this one, I used the contour ink pad again, and I used July, here we go, zinnia. So many stamps, I'm losing track of them, you guys. All right, so here's the zinnia, and once again, I'm going to use my stamping platform here. And I went ahead and I stamped this several times, this large blossom, using the contour ink pad. And I stamped it right here, if you can barely see it. And then I just stamped the greeting in black, because I'm just going to be using this paper here. I'm not going to be die cutting them. All right, so for this then, we're going to be getting, when you're using the contour ink pad, it's a great way to get sort of a watercolor look, or watercolor or a hand-painted look from your ink, from your stamp and from your pens. So for this, I'm going to be using the coral. And for each one of these, I think we're going to have to zoom in quite a bit on this one, Steve. For this one, I'm going to start with the darker shade, and I'm just going to just flick a little color, just little things like this right here at the base of each one of these petals. A little bit of the darker color. All right, so then I'm going to go to the mid or middle one, and I'm just going to be capturing some of that darker color right there and going to the middle of the petal. I'm not going to be doing this entire one all the way around. I'm just going to go halfway. And now I'm going to go to my light pen, and I'm going to color the entire thing. And so what I'm trying to achieve here is a no line color. So on the other ones that Debbie did, you could clearly see an outline, which is great. That's fantastic. And this one though, I wanted a very different look. All right, let's go one more. And it's a very freeing way to color because it's going like this. A lot of freestyle coloring going on here. All right, so we're going to stop with that. Now we're going to take this, so that was a coral. Now we're going to take the citrus blend, which is a very beautiful yellow. We're going to the darkest shade here. And I'm just going to color the whole center here yellow. All right, then I'm going to take this golden brown color. I'm taking the darkest color there, and we're just going to go around, kind of a little scribbly motion around that whole edge to get some darker color in there. Okay, now I'm going back to the yellow, the citrus yellow, using the middle color, and I'm just going to kind of go around with that brown and the yellow, just lighten those edges a little bit, blending. Now I'm going to go back to the dark golden brown, and I'm just going to be doing some dots around of the darkest color all the way around like this. Now I'm going to go to the lightest color of this golden brown, and now I'm going to be doing the little dots all around the surface there, and then some from the mid. Okay, there we go. Now I'm returning back to my coral. Now I'm just going to be going and sort of defining the edges of the petals on like the left side of each petal. Gives it a little bit of definition there. We see what's coming through there is just an entirely different looking, kind of a watercolory look for a flower. And then we're going to go back to the golden brown. Okay, we're going to take the middle color there, and I'm just going to be following along a little bit of those lines. Actually, I'm going to do this in the darkest color, just like that. Just you can still see some of those gray lines coming through, and I'm just going to follow along those lines just a little bit towards the center. All right, so assuming now I have done this whole thing, I do need to mention the stem, don't I? For the stem, I also colored that in using green. So here we go. Here's my finished flower, and we can probably zoom out a little bit there, Steve. I'm going to go back to my coral pen, the middle one, and I've done everything that I've shown you here. Remember, just kind of putting some definition around one side of those petals. That just to give it a little bit of curve. On this one, I'm following the line here. And that's all there is to it. And you're just doing this according to your own, skill level. I am not a great colorer. Some people are just like really, really talented at their coloring, and theirs is going to look different than mine. Yours will look different than mine. Mine will look different than yours. And that's okay. This is the first thing I've ever done using this contour pad. I did this last night. I was sitting at home on my couch, and I thought, I need to figure out how that works. I haven't tried the no-line coloring, and so I just started experimenting a little bit, and that's what I came up with. So you guys, we have got a great money saver, or maybe even 2 or 3. I'm not sure how they're going to divide these up for all 12 of these sets. What I love about them is I can pick up the ones for the months that are special in my life, for anniversary or for birthdays, and have those sort of personalized cards available for my friends and family, which I love that idea of personalizing with their birthday month flower. So check that out if you're watching us on our Paper Wishes vlog page. The money savers on the right hand side. If you look below the video, you'll see a link to the gallery where you get full color pictures of all this. Just click on that. And if you're looking for each one of these items individually, if you just want to buy that November stamp, you can absolutely do that. Look in the drop-down menu below the video as well, and you'll see all the products. And if you're watching us on YouTube, in the video, in the description box below the video, just click on the link that's provided, and it'll take you to the Paper Wishes vlog page where you'll see everything I just mentioned. If you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up. It helps people find our channel. And subscribe, because we do 3 to 5 videos a week, and if you're not subscribing, you might miss one. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.